thank you for being here and taking, a half an hour out of your health tonight to learn about how to stay healthy. Taking a half an hour of your life to learn how to stay healthy. So my goal to do these talks, and some of you know that who've been here before, is my goal is to build a healthier community, a healthier Lincoln, to have less people taking less drugs so they're less impaired when they drive. For one thing, that would be one goal of that. Okay. So another thing is I just want people to be healthy and more vitalized. So tonight we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting. This may be one of the shorter talks I've ever done, but I want to ask you, if I were to ask you, if we were to look at health like a stool with three legs, okay, what would those three legs be? What would you say they are? Anybody? I don't care.
Chiropractic.
Okay, chiropractic. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Diet.
Why chiropractic, by the way? Why would you say that?
Because it makes your whole body function better.
Yeah, it gives you a much healthier, higher functioning nervous system. Your nervous system controls what?
Everything.
Everything. So yeah, I'd say chiropractic. What else?
Your food.
Nutrition. Yeah, right. That's the part we're going to talk about tonight.
Oxygen.
Third thing? Sleep. Okay, sleep. I knew somebody would say that. I think sleep is really important, but let me ask you this. If you eat a large chocolate sundae at 10 o'clock every night and chase it with bourbon, how well are you going to sleep? Not very well, okay? So sleep is important, but diet is actually more important because that really helps you sleep better.
What about exercise?
Exercise, that's a third leg. So chiropractic, nutrition, and exercise, in my opinion, are the three legs of stool of health. Okay. So intermittent fasting, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful things you can do for your health. I've been doing it for 15 years. I just came back from a trip out to California to see my sister and my mother, and I don't stop intermittent fasting or exercising when I'm out there. And my sister and my mother, they even though I've been out there lots of times, they still kind of don't quite understand why I don't eat breakfast with them. I just don't. And I did 2 24-hour fasts when I was out there. And I said, I just don't want to eat. I'm not hungry. I ate enough, And so finally, in like the second to the last day, my sister goes, she's a year younger than I am, and she goes, maybe I should start doing this. So it's rubbing off a little bit. Okay. So what is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is a cyclical process of eating and abstaining. Eating and abstaining. So when you start intermittent fasting, you're going to have periods of eating, and then there's periods where you fast and you just avoid food. Now, that doesn't mean you can't drink water or you can't drink sparkling water or coffee, but you just don't eat during those times. So let's look at the myths of intermittent fasting, things that people believe. First of all, fasting puts your body into starvation mode. That's not true. Fasting for short periods of time is not starving. Actually, when you stop eating for a while, it boosts your metabolism and it increases the hormones that tell your body to break down fat and stimulate metabolism. Okay? And so you got to think of it like this. When you're intermittent fasting, you're training your body to burn fat. That's what you're doing, okay? And that's what I tell people. I intermittently fast. I'm training my body to burn fat. So here's some myths. You have to eat 5 to 6 times a day. That is bull crap, okay? Only if you want, if you have really unstable blood sugar, but if you have unstable blood sugar, that means you haven't been eating well for a long time, okay? Here's the other thing, 2A, everything in moderation. If you're trying to get your metabolism working right, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to build lean muscle, there's a lot of things you can't eat in moderation. You can't eat pizza in moderation, okay? You just can't. You can't eat ice cream in moderation. You can't have a glass of wine in between meals. You know, that's going to screw everything up. There's certain things you cannot do when you're trying to train your body to burn fat. Now, not eating breakfast will make you fat. Well, research has shown in some cases, not very many, but in some cases that may be true. Breakfast can be beneficial to some people, but has no effect on others. I think Kellogg's was the one who decided that we needed to eat breakfast, okay? And breakfast cereal, and I'll say this, you've heard me say it before, one of the worst things you can put in your body. It's cheap grain held together with chemicals and sugar, okay? And what do you pour on it? Pour on it pasteurized milk that's been through cows that have all kinds of hormones and all kinds of eaten food that is not, that is high in chemicals. So you don't want to, in fact, if you want to eat breakfast, I'm just telling you, eat eggs. It stabilizes your blood sugar, high in protein. The yolk is very high in nutrition, high in choline, things that you need. So eat eggs if you're going to eat breakfast, okay? But don't, I'm just trying to get you off breakfast cereal. I haven't eaten it in decades. Okay, intermittent fasting causes muscle loss. That only happens with starvation. Your body burns glucose and stored sugar first when you fast, then fat, and last muscle. The average person has 50 to 100,000 calories of stored fat in their body, at least a month's worth of meals, okay? I heard this statistic once, and I can't remember where I heard it, that the average obese American male could go for a year without eating before they died. A year, okay? I've heard that. I cannot remember where I heard that, but I believe that to be true.
It was in one of your journals and one of your talks, I think.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, this year.
Okay, your brain needs a constant supply of energy. Well, it does. It needs glucose, but glycogen or glucose stored in the liver can supply the brain with energy for hours. Even if the brain has used up stored glucose, the body will turn to ketosis, okay, or burning fat and using ketones. And actually, your brain using ketones for energy is a lot more efficient, actually, than even glucose. So ketosis is a very efficient way of producing energy in your body. Intermittent fasting causes nutrient deficiencies. That's not true. It's a standard American diet that causes nutrient deficiencies. Intermittent fasting can make your body better at handling the nutrients that you are taking in. It makes your body more efficient, okay? The standard American diet is the most nutrient deficient thing I've ever seen. What does the science say? Okay, intermittent fasting causes you to lose weight and belly fat. It helps hormone levels that facilitate weight loss. In one study, it showed that intermittent fasting, you can lose 3.6 to 14% of belly fat. Another review saw people lose 4 to 7% of their waist circumference over a 3 to 24 week period. So when you think of 7%, let's say if somebody has a 33-inch waist, so you're losing 3 inches, that's 10%. So 7% would be like 2.5 inches, okay? That's not bad. That's a pretty good loss in inches in your waist. Intermittent fasting changes the functions of genes, cells, and hormones. It causes insulin levels to drop. Is that good or bad?
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. What do high insulin levels do?
Diabetes.
Diabetes. Okay. What else does high insulin do? So if you have constant high insulin and you have insulin resistance and you're diabetic, okay. But what are the other effects of high insulin on the body?
Make you hungrier?
Well, it may, but that wasn't what I was thinking of.
Liver or kidneys or, I don't know.
High insulin locks fat into the cells.
Ooh.
You cannot get rid of fat. It's like taking a key and locking the cell and saying the fat's not going to get out. You cannot get fat out of your cells when your insulin levels are high. Number two, high insulin levels. High insulin is a sort of a surrogate test for cancer. The higher your insulin levels are, the better your chances are of getting cancer. Okay, so you want to keep your insulin levels, normal. I say under 5. Okay, that's my target goal, under 5. Okay, so in fact, there's 2 tests that I use. I call them the poor man's cancer tests, even though blood tests for cancer are not very expensive. But is insulin and another one called LDH, lactate dehydrogenase, which tells me if the body's fermenting sugar for energy, which is what cancer cells do. So high insulin, very bad because it takes you down this path for metabolic disease, chronic metabolic disease, including cancer, that you don't want to go down. So when you intermittently fast, hormone levels in the blood can increase up to 5 times. It starts in a lot of cellular repair processes. So if you're constantly eating and snacking, why can't your body repair? Anybody? That's a pretty hard question, pretty tough question. If you get that one right, you should get a star or something. But,
Maybe you're not getting enough sleep at night.
okay, that could be. That isn't the thing that's not the answer that I was thinking of. So think about this. If you're constantly snacking, what is your body constantly doing? Digesting. Does it take
Not giving you a
energy?
break.
Does it take energy to break down food?
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy to break down
So
food.
you're not giving it a break.
So that energy is being used to break down food, that you can't use that to repair your body. So when you intermittently fast and you don't eat, the energy that it would normally take to break down food, it uses to repair things, to fix things, okay? So intermittent fasting also produces positive changes to genes related to longevity. And I have a talk on how to extend your life. And I show some research that shows that fasting actually causes your body to, it causes your hormones and your genetically to extend the life. So in fact, one of the first clues that I had that fasting was really good for life extension was about 25 or 30 years ago. I read this article in National Geographic about the wild horses out in Nevada. And they in this article, it said that they really barely had enough to eat. They had enough to eat, but not, and because of that, they lived a lot longer. I thought that was fascinating. And it really kind of convicted me, and I thought, man, I'm probably eating too much, because these wild animals that don't eat a lot, that go through periods of hunger, tend to live longer lives. So intermittent fasting reduces oxidative stress and inflammation. It reduces type 2 diabetes, can reduce your blood sugar 3 to 6%, and insulin 20 to 31%. It's very powerful for reducing insulin. Now, men, this is a little bit more effective in men than women, and I'm not sure why. Okay, so it lowers insulin a little better in men. I've seen it happen in women, lots, but men, it's a little bit more effective. Intermittent fasting is beneficial for heart health, reduces serum lipids, and it reduces the inflammation markers. So what would be an example of a serum lipid? Anybody?
Cholesterol?
Yeah, cholesterol. Who said that? Good job. Okay. Cholesterol, that's a serum lipid. Anything else? How about triglycerides?
Yes.
Okay. So here's another question for you. What's a more important blood marker for heart disease, cholesterol or triglycerides?
Triglycerides.
Triglycerides.
Yeah, that's right, triglycerides. Why? Why is that?
It's a myth. The good cholesterol, bad cholesterol is a myth.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty true. But why is triglycerides a better marker for heart health or than cholesterol? Yes, Randy.
So your arteries get clogged up more.
Okay.
The triglycerides, if they're high or low, then it can clog up your
And why would that be?
poor diet.
Okay. Triglycerides is fat that's sticky. It's not stickier than cholesterol. Your body your body turns sugar into triglycerides and to a certain extent into cholesterol, but your body needs cholesterol to make a lot of things. It makes hormones out of cholesterol, makes bile out of cholesterol, makes brain cells out of cholesterol. But triglycerides, it doesn't need nearly as much. And so when your triglycerides are really high, that's like the lie detector test for me in blood work. I don't care if somebody tells me they're eating really healthy and their triglycerides are like 200. That is not true. That they're lying. Okay, it just ain't so. All right, triglycerides are one of the lie detectors in blood work for diet and nutrition. Okay. Okay. So one other thing that it does is it protects from strokes. So if you want to protect your body from stroke, intermittently fast. It produces what is called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is really powerful to regenerate brain cells. It really helps with depression and other brain issues. Okay. So one of the first things that you're going to notice with intermittent fasting is that over time your appetite's going to decline. Now, it may not decline immediately, but I noticed that when I started intermittently fasting, that my appetite really got under control. And so sometimes I still get hungry at 10:30 in the morning, but if I just wait, that usually passes, it goes away, and I'm fine, okay? So you've got to get to the point where food does not control your life, all right? And so what I recommend, if you look at intermittent fasting, I recommend that you go 16 hours without food, and then you have a feeding period of 8 hours. So maybe from 12 to 7 or 8, that's the time you eat, okay? Otherwise, you're not eating, okay? Now, my window is a little tighter than this. Usually it is. I go a lot of days like where I have a 4-hour window or a 2-hour window, but you need to go at least try and get 16 hours where you're not eating anything. And I would say this, that doesn't mean you can drink a lot of apple juice or high carbohydrate foods. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you.
Does it matter if you do it like every other day or if you have to do it every day like that?
Well, if you want to start out every other day.
I was going to say, because that's the challenge.
Just do what you can.
Okay.
I mean, if you do it every other day, that's great, Robbie. Just start out like that, okay? When I first read about this, I was like, I jumped into it with both feet. I mean, I'm going, this is a truth. I'm going to do it, okay? And so I did it. I don't expect everybody to do exactly what I do, I mean, I've done that with several things when it comes to health. So, but you can actually train your body to where you're controlling it. Food is not controlling you, okay? And here's another thing. if you look at the biblical story of Elijah when he was in, at the brook, how many meals did God feed him? 2. 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. He didn't get 3 meals a day. He didn't get Special K's and milk, you got
Good brain.
food in the morning. God fed him twice a day. Didn't feed him. He didn't need 3 meals a day, and God certainly didn't think he needed 3 meals a day. Okay, skipping breakfast may be the best way to start intermittent fasting, or at least push it back. So you're getting started, and you don't feel like you can jump into it with both feet, and that's fine. So just start pushing breakfast back to maybe 10 or 11 o'clock, okay? And then eat, okay? And then maybe eat a later lunch, or try that. Let's say you're going to try intermittent fasting, but you're so ravenously hungry by 11 o'clock, you're ready to strangle your whatever, whoever's near you. Then just go ahead and eat, okay? But eat something healthy, all right? And just start gradually doing this. Fasting is something that you train your body to do. So, and then eventually you're going to be able to go a lot longer than this. Now, what I found, there's 2 secrets that I found. Number 1 is I like coffee in the morning, so I put in coconut oil, butter, and heavy whipping cream into my coffee. High fat, okay, really helps me get through the morning. Another secret that I have that I found is exercising before breakfast significantly reduces my appetite. I do so much better with intermittent fasting if I have my coffee and then I exercise before breakfast, and it really, really makes a difference with appetite, for me at least. You can try it, okay? Now I have a whole talk on where I talk about exercise and high intensity exercise, but really good to exercise before breakfast. Now here's the thing, if you exercise before breakfast and you don't eat until noon, and what's your body doing during that time?
It's using up fat for energy.
Yeah, it's burning stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not feeding it, so it has to burn what you got, okay? So you're training your body to burn fat. That's what you're doing.
So you won't pass out if you work out while fasting.
Oh, heavens no. Well, I get if you
lightheaded.
fast 3 days and then work out,
Right.
well, good luck.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't do it early because I would get lightheaded. I do get lightheaded.
Okay, so you have to monitor what your body can do. But here's something that I do routinely. Is on Thursdays I eat lunch. It's the only meal I eat that day. Don't eat anything for dinner. And then Friday morning I do a pretty heavy workout. Okay, and it's not till pretty later in the day that I start getting hungry. So I do that routinely. Now, again, I'm not expecting you guys to jump into that routine, but I found that it's really helpful for burning fat and building lean muscle. You want to eat high quality food and make sure that you have good fat with each meal. Okay, so I believe meat's fine to eat. Steak is fine. Nuts are high in fat, but you need some form of fat with each meal, okay? And I'm a huge believer in fruits and vegetables. Here's another thing that can really help. Having apple cider vinegar at night and water after dinner or before bed can really help with hunger, really helps with digestion, and I found that it does help with weight loss. So what I do, I take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar before bed, chase it with water. You're going to want to do that. But again, you don't have to do that. You just put it in the water. This is what I do, okay? And I found it really helps with digestion a lot.
Does it
Really,
help with sleep?
it's just, I just found it's, very beneficial.
Does it help with sleep too?
I think it does, but
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
I think it does. Another thing that's really helpful is just drinking, while you're fasting, add lemon juice to water because that reduces kidney stones and uric acid, which can help you avoid gout. Okay, so another thing is drinking green tea with intermittent fasting. It's a really good strategy. Green tea really helps with gut function. So I drink green tea, hot green tea with some lemon juice routinely, almost every day, and that's been also very, very helpful for health. I mean, green tea is very powerful in antioxidants, which is really good for gut function. Now, snacking between meals or eating late night snacks before bed is an absolute weight loss killer, okay? You cannot do that if you want to lose weight. You got to stop eating between meals, okay? Snacking is so bad for your body. So, I mean, if you eat a healthy meal, you should be able to last till the next meal, and so snacking is not a good thing. I don't do it very often. Rarely eat late at night. I'm not saying I've never done it, but I just don't do it very often at all. So that's something that, I mean, if you're doing anything right, if you're doing a lot of this right now, at least stop this, okay? At least stop the snacking, right?
What do you do for headaches if you get headaches while you fast?
Well, I would eat protein then.
Okay.
Eat some nuts.
Okay.
Maybe eat a handful of nuts.
Okay.
See if that will help. What?
A lot of water.
A lot of water, and if it's if it's an unstable blood sugar issue, you want to eat fat. Okay, so nuts are fat and protein. Nuts have a lot of minerals too. It's really good. So I mean, personally, I've never had the headache issue with fasting, but some people do. So, okay. So this is probably the shortest talk I've ever done. All right. Any questions? Yes.
For diabetics, like if your blood sugar, does it go too high?
Type 1 or type 2 diabetic?
Type 2,
Type 2?
yeah.
Intermittent fasting is the best thing a type 2 diabetic can do.
Now, I remember my father, he did, his blood sugar would go way down, and then, we had to give him something, like orange juice or something to drink.
Okay. So he was a type 2 diabetic?
Yes.
Pretty brittle type 2 diabetic then. So what was he eating for his meals?
I don't know. I didn't live with him, but I just remember, he enjoyed his meat and potatoes and.
Okay, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So potatoes in moderation, I would say, but you got to, if you have unstable blood sugar, you have to eat high fat meals. You have to meals. That's why I like eggs for breakfast. If you have unstable blood sugar, you want to eat eggs for breakfast, high in protein, high in fat, and it really stabilizes glucose. So that's what I would do. And over time, if you really work at it, you can really change type 2 diabetes with intermittent fasting. But it may take some work. Okay.
Another question on coconut oil, which I firmly believe in, but you have so many people, the old school, that go, oh, you can't do coconut oil. That is so bad for your heart and your arteries.
Well, I should be dead then.
Yeah. I know, but there's so many people that have that mindset.
Yeah, I know. That's too bad. Yeah. That's why I'm doing these talks.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to change that. Because
Yeah.
and I tell you what, it's a sugar industry that did that. It's the sugar industry that created that mindset in our culture. And I do a talk on sugar, just on sugar. I have a whole talk on that, half hour. It's the sugar industry that did that.
They want to sell their products.
Yeah.
What are the best nuts to
In
eat?
my opinion,
Brazil
like,
nuts.
pistachios are really good. Walnuts, pecans.
Brazil.
Brazil nuts, really good, high in selenium.
Mm-hmm.
Cashews, really high in lectins, and they can tear up your gut. You know, for a lot of people, they're not good. So I don't eat cashews. Those are the ones I eat.
Almonds?
Almonds are okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're fasting for 16 hours, do you take supplements later than when you're going to eat your meal?
Well, I take supplements during the fast.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I take them during the fast.
Okay.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're fasting for 24 hours, is it still okay to take Dr. Paul's supplements and vitamins throughout the course of the day? Like, you know, you said, Randy, do one at lunch or breakfast, lunch, supper. So that's still normal. You can take it.
I'll take
while you're
mine,
fasting.
yeah.
It depends on the supplements. Some
Yeah.
things will kind of get you queasy.
I mean, I take my supplements, you know, but and I do fine with them. So, yeah, it's fine to take them while you're fasting. Yeah.
Except I found zinc. Zinc just tears me up if I'm fasting.
Yeah, then don't take it.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take it then.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's some things that I can't do when I'm fasting. And I can't remember what it was that was really getting me, but I couldn't do it. But yeah, I mean, most of the whole food supplements I have are fine when you fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back on the apple cider vinegar, I have a cocktail I take in the morning of 2 tablespoons of that, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. How should I change that? Do the same thing in the evening, or cut some of that stuff out, or what?
No, that's good. No, why would you change it?
And do that in the morning?
Sure.
Or okay.
Why not? Yeah. I mean, I do my apple cider vinegar in the evening.
Okay.
But that's fine. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you're cleansing your
Evening
body.
and
And,
morning. So.
yeah, that's good. Yeah. Do you have a question?
Yeah, for your bulletproof coffee, how much like cream or butter or whatever do you put in that?
I don't measure.
Stick of butter.
I just, and then mix it up. And
How it tastes.
yeah, so I never measure that. I just kind of throw it in there and, to my taste. But yeah.
So would too much of it be bad? I mean, is there like a limit? Like you don't want to go above X or something?
Too much like butter or?
Yeah, or butter or cream.
A stick
or
of butter.
coconut oil.
Well, no, not a stick. Come on, Robbie. I just put in I put in probably a 1/2 teaspoon of butter, 1/2 teaspoon of coconut oil, and I just pour in some, heavy whipping cream. Just I don't measure that at all, but I would say a 1/2 teaspoon of each.
Just of those others. And
Yeah.
then some cream.
Yeah, and then some heavy whipping cream. And it works out really well.
Okay.
Yeah, and it tastes good. That's the thing. I want it to taste good.
Right.
So, okay. I think we're good to go. Thank you very much for attending. Our next talk is on women and their hormones. So if you know young women who are having hormonal issues, that would be a great talk for them. Okay?